And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Let me get my boy's name up here. I'm flying solo, so I ain't got no names. But everybody recognize him. You know him from many places, all endeavors on many fields, coaching many sports, touching the lives of many individuals. Mr. Ford Rembert is in the house. Yeah. Andrew Williams was with us here briefly, but he had light work to do, he said.
What a busy day.
I'm telling you. I know that feeling. I don't like it, but I know that feeling. I had it yesterday, as a matter of fact. It was Monday all day, which didn't surprise me at all. Let me get going here. Bill Klein, good morning to you, sir. Stephen Lowe, glad to have you guys. I hope you guys are happy. This is what Andrew brought by. He brought by a little blue helmet here. And I told you if I have stuff, I will be more than happy to display it. You like that? You like the matte? You like the matte finish? I do. Yeah. I don't like the shiny like Notre Dame. I don't like. I don't like that.
Not for our colors. You know,
I don't like Maryland because they can't figure out what that hat's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
that one's different.
Man, that place. You know what a great school and what a long tradition of sports and just academics. But man, it's almost like when they left the ACC, it was it was like weird.
And it still is.
Not having Maryland ACC just doesn't seem right.
I agree. Tim Lawn, good morning. Bob, good morning. Lindsay Lee, good morning. Lindsay's here for a special reason because I told her, we talked a little bit yesterday. Dennis Harris, good morning. I said, I will be on the soapbox today.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it low key, but I'm going on the soapbox today. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do.
All right.
And I do it because of I am an outspoken member of the consistency rule. Right, wrong, or indifferent, just be consistent. I'm going to start with this story. It's non-sports related, but it has a local touch to it, okay? This is about Beasley Media Group. And if you don't know who Beasley Media Group is, Beasley Media Group, if you go look at the new communications building at App State, that building is named the George Beasley Building. He was a contributor to App State. He's you can say a local broadcaster, predominantly in the Southeast, a ton of radio stations, and very active in Charlotte. WFNZ, the sports talk radio station in Charlotte, was once part of Beasley and then was sold to Intercom when they sold it with WBT and The Link. Those stations went together. Now, I tell you all this. George Beasley, the founder, passed away on June the 2nd. Caroline Beasley is the one that kind of took over, and I think she's been the CEO. But on Monday, they became the latest radio operator to mandate that employees be fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Okay.
Now, after announcing the policy, she spoke with Inside Radio, which is where I got this, what exemptions will be permitted and early reactions. Now, that's kind of what I want to get to. And a couple of different things, okay? But the exceptions, according to this, she said the question was, what are the vaccination exemptions that some employees may qualify for? She said, it's what we have seen from other companies and best practices and the advice that we have been given. These have to be real exemptions and for real reasons, and to get further into this and our employees come to us for these exemptions, they will have to be documented and proven, and you'll have to have a note from your doctor that outlines it. Now, there's no meat there. There's no meat there. That's okay. That's my soapbox. That's my soapbox.
What does real mean? The real thing. I mean, like
Who determines that?
That's what I'm saying. Like whenever you're listening on TV or on radio or Facebook or whatever, and someone says, "Well, can you please explain to me such and such, such and such?" And the person will answer the question. Well, the real question is, why do we, No, answer the question.
What
does real mean? That's
gets
left up
me
to interpretation.
Nothing gets me more than when somebody answers my question with a question.
Yeah. The real question is, we should like your question. It's all about wording. Mm-hmm. Everything is about word manipulation instead of truth.
So here's my question.
It's unbelievable.
Here's my question, and I'll give you an example.
Is yours a real question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Milton, Corey, Sheila, good morning. My question is, when you mandate something, how do you have exceptions, and who determines the exceptions? Okay, let me go one step further.
Great question.
One step further. Lenore Ryan announced at the beginning of summer, everyone that came on that campus as a student or employee would be vaccinated. Period.
I think they actually announced it the day before or after mandatory tuition was payable.
Well, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, or non-refundable.
I'm sure.
I don't know. I'm just saying that, whatever.
But I read in the paper last week, those individuals that are not vaccinated, didn't say why, would be subject to testing twice a week. Okay? Then don't say that everybody's going to be vaccinated. You should say you can either be vaccinated or you're subject to testing twice a week. But don't say it's mandatory and then start coming up with exceptions. Then It's not mandatory. It's highly recommended. It's highly suggested.
Sure, that's fine.
But not mandatory if you're going to allow exemptions.
Yeah.
Okay?
So what does it mean, like, I just have one question. If you have the shot, can you be infected with the virus?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's just what's going on right now is...
Does it keep you from spreading it also if you have the shot?
Mm-mm.
What are
None of them do.
Well, no, I'm just asking a question.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm just saying all vaccinations before this one.
Right.
You can still,
No, again, I'm just asking a question. I just want to be clear on that. And people can believe. I mean, I have no problem with people say yes. Everyone, that's their opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't mind that. Mm-hmm. And I got to be fully, transparent here. They, if you're on a job somewhere, they can require it, right?
And
just like you had said.
That's where I'm going.
Went on air, right?
That's where I'm going with this. This is where I'm going.
I'm not.
I know, and I'm not going to give specifics. Okay, Scott Cloninger, good morning. I know of 2 coaches, employees at a local university that are no longer there, and this whole vaccination thing is the center of it, from what I understand. I'm trying to figure out why that's the case if you're allowing exemptions. If you're allowing exemptions, you've opened yourself up for a lawsuit.
Well, think about this.
Because who determines whether that exemption is worthy over that exemption?
You are 100% right, and it's the inconsistency that's consistent.
That's correct.
And it's on a local level.
Yeah.
Some students are allowed to transfer schools right now within Catawba County and allowed to play immediately. Mm-hmm. Okay? My niece and nephew left Maiden, transferred to Bandy's a couple years ago, and they had to sit out. Now, my nephew really did. He played baseball some, but really didn't. It wasn't his thing. He enjoyed it, but it wasn't why he went. He went to Bandy's to take the welding. Mm-hmm. My niece, who's his sister, went, but for family, it's much easier for mom and dad to be in one.
Sure.
She was fine. She had friends there, friends here. It wasn't a big deal. They still had her sit out. But yet we have kids that transfer to other schools that are eligible immediately.
That interpretation of rules I don't like. Lindsay said the rule at state, that's where she's in school, it's either vax or surveillance testing weekly.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because then it becomes your choice on which way you want to go with it, and that's the way it should work.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, when you work for someone, people talk about, well, you have a right to do this and a right to do that. Well, you can pretty much do anything you want to do, but that doesn't make it right or give you the right to do it. Mm-hmm.
But here's the difference when you're going to Lenore Ryan or you're going to NC State, you are paying to go.
I completely agree.
So you need a choice.
You are the government.
Okay? Now, if you're an employee, and this is where I'm going with all this, if you're an employee An employee is a professional athlete because they get a check from a corporation.
That's correct.
Okay? That's different. That corporation can mandate what you do if you want your check.
And that's right. I mean, because you're working on behalf of them under contract.
Correct.
You're being paid for services rendered.
Which came back to my biggest rub when all the stuff started with Kaepernick and all that stuff, whether it's right or wrong, or you agree with it or you don't agree with it, it doesn't need to be in your workplace. I promise you, with my real job, I could not go out and protest in our front yard at our office very long on company time, on behalf of the company. And the reason I say that, people lose their jobs over a comment that you made on Facebook on your personal account because it was connected as a representative of where you worked.
Yep.
So that was a connection back to the company. If the company felt like that was a bad reflection on you, they can terminate you.
Yeah.
So if they can do that through a post on Facebook, somebody please tell me why these Yahoo professional athletes that are making millions of dollars can say, well, I'm not going to do it, but I want my money. Don't work that way. Yeah. It don't work. We have gotten to the point with professional athletes that we have forgotten that it is a business, that you are an employee. Whether you go out there and protest, do your Yahoo stuff, whatever that organization says you're going to do, as long as it's not illegal or not going to harm you, you got to do it or you go find another job. That industry should not be any different than any other industry. Now, they're trying to do it by, we're going to take your wages away. And I saw an example yesterday. When Cam Newton left New England, I don't know where he went, but he had to go in quarantine for 5 days.
He went to I think to a special doctor.
Because he went out of whatever area, which
out of protocol,
makes absolutely no sense to me at all. But I'll give you another example that's coming. Caldwell County has canceled their 3 football games this week for their 3 local high schools, which would be South Caldwell, West Caldwell, High Brighton. Mm-hmm. They're not having football this week. Yep. Hickory had already scheduled around. I think they were supposed to play South, and now they're playing Latin. Folks, this is going to start rolling along at a pretty high clip, and the reason is everybody went to school yesterday.
Yeah.
Before this virus ever hit, if you had kids in school, everybody in your house got sick the first 2 weeks of school because the kids were back with other kids and they were exposed to a germ that they had in a cold, a flu, whatever it is. This is not going away. Now, the biggest thing they're promoting or saying now is 99% of those people that are hospitalized with the virus this time have not been vaccinated. That may be true, but there are people that have been vaccinated that have gotten the virus.
Oh, yeah.
My son's one of them.
Yeah.
My cousin is one of them.
How sick was he?
Bad sinus infection.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, lost energy, and still trying to get that back. But just a bad. I don't know that he even run a fever, but just he said it was like a bad sinus infection. Yeah. And he was vaccinated. Right. So the whole thing behind this, and I got a couple questions I'll get to that came here. Jonathan Bean, good morning. Tarby, good morning. Bill said, what about religious exemptions for vaccine? Milton said, if you have an allergic reaction to vaccines, you're screwed. And that's true. Adam Chase, good morning. Here's the deal. Let me go to yours first, Bill. You have a choice to make. If where you're trying to earn a living, and usually the religious things is what gets you around it, but my understanding is they're not letting that play out. Folks, life is about choices. And you've got to make those choices depending upon where you stand. The allergic reaction, as Milton said. The other thing that's going to turn the screws on being able to force the vaccination was the FDA approval yesterday of the Pfizer. once it gets that magical FDA approval, it did. Yes.
Yeah.
Once it gets that, it's hard for you to say, well, I'm not going to take it because it's experimental. Well, now it's no longer experimental. Folks, every vaccine that ever came out had side effects. That's why it is your choice to decide if you want to get it or you don't want to get it. And I'll be completely honest with you. Maybe this was selfish on my part, okay? I did get the vaccine. Mm-hmm. I'm not in 100% agreement with it, but just like I've had a pneumonia vaccine, I've had the shingles vaccine, just like I had this one. The reason that I had it, it may not keep me from getting pneumonia. It may not keep me from getting shingles. It may not keep me from getting the COVID virus. I'm just trying if it will help and keep from killing me. That's why I did it, because I don't really believe vaccines are 100% foolproof, that you can't get them and you can't get the disease because we've already seen it.
What about people that have already had it, COVID?
My daughter, my youngest has not had the vaccine, but she did test positive and have it when it first came out in December when it got into volleyball at high school. Now, my wife has had it, and she called me yesterday. We did not discuss this, but she took it yesterday at school. She didn't sound happy about it, but she took it. She got Johnson & Johnson. My other daughter, Camden, she got Johnson & Johnson. Everybody in my family has had it, and we all got it for different reasons, you know. And I don't know. I don't know about when I got my vaccination, the only question they asked me is if I had tested positive for it within so many weeks of taking that vaccination, which I've never tested positive for it. Now, could I have had it and don't know it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I've not, so I took the vaccination.
I think one of the questions is, too, is if you had it, how long do you have the antibodies? And it's kind of like, they're talking about a booster shot now, with –
But what's happening now is a variant which was not in the original mix for the vaccine, this Delta variant. Now, I think, here again, I'm not a scientist, and I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So I don't know. Richie, good morning.
Yeah, there's just a lot of, we're following the science, but there's a lot of unknowns. Right?
Milton had a comment earlier, and I didn't get a chance to. Lincoln Polly, good morning. Brian Rove, good morning. I didn't get a chance to say it. Milton said, I trust and follow the science, but right now the science keeps changing.
Well, and it's
because it's new.
And I didn't mean to. I didn't mean that we shouldn't listen to that. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know that.
Saying, a lot of times we get on, beating that drum about you got to follow the science, you got to do this, you got to do that. When, we only know what we know. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot of good intentions.
And this is a short time window we're looking at results.
Yeah, I mean.
And long-term
measurables.
Effects.
No, that's right. That's why, normally it takes, 3 or 4 years, 5 years for the FDA to approve something. And, now it's through. So, I don't know. How does that affect sports?
Well, here's where it affects the sports. Because the NFL is really putting the push on. They want 85% or more vaccinated.
But why? I mean, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't get a vaccine. I'm saying why? Because if you can still contract it and have the vaccine, why is it so important that 85% get it? See, now, unless you're saying, well, we want everybody to be healthy. That's okay, but what does it come back to in the end?
Well, my thing has been this.
It doesn't stop the spread, right?
This is what I've said before.
I mean, I'm just asking. I'm trying to figure this out.
This is well. Let me do this. I need to take a break, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you why I think. And remember, everything you hear out of my mouth is my opinion. Okay, do not hang it on anybody else. It is strictly my opinion. I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are in all of this mess if you have the vaccination. what should happen after you have the vaccination. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Annette Cook, good morning. Glad to have you with us as well. Welcome back inside the Bottom Line. Lanny Ford, 4Rembert along with you here on a Tuesday. Gonna be hot all week.
God, it's awful out
90s. We're still doing 90s.
Oh, I have 2 things, Lanny. 2 things before you get back to your rant.
Okay.
Number 1, if you ever coach youth league football, never have practice on the first day of school. All right. Love my little kids. My 9 and 10-year-old young men are just absolutely fabulous and work hard. Yesterday, their brains were mush. They were mush. And so after about an hour and 10 minutes, I pulled the plug and said, all right, boys, everybody out of here. We're getting nothing accomplished. And the other thing is it's really hot outside coaching football. 3 o'clock to about 7, 8 o'clock at night. It's hot. Holy cow.
I went to pick up some food for Addison. She has a class on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so I went up to Tosaka's up in Newton she wants some Japanese. And when I rode by the field, you were with the little men, and all the cars were over as close as they could to the tree line trying to get in the shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about cutting those trees down. I'm glad I didn't now. That's a great shady area. But I tell you what, it's fun, Lanny. I'm having a great time with those little guys.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's a lot of fun. And people talk about football's dead. Let me tell you something. Man, when kids get together, they get interested and they get into something. It doesn't matter what it is. They enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. I'm not the nicest guy in the world when they're out there. I don't mistreat them by any means, but we don't talk when Coach Rembert's talking.
You take it serious regardless of what age it is.
And then all of a sudden, as soon as they fall in line with it and they get directional focus, then the fun just comes out of nowhere. They're like, oh, this, instead of being chaotic and worried about everybody's feelings and, how are you today? I tell them, 9 and 10 years old, look, the sooner you realize nobody cares about your feelings in this world except your mommy and your daddy, you will be so much better off, because then you stop worrying about stuff you can't control.
That's right.
And you start focusing on things that you can control. Your effort, your energy, your focus. But anyway, sorry. We have a great time. It's
Richie
fun.
said at soccer practice last night he thought the kids were going to melt. And I can see that.
Richie's right. It was hot.
It was hot. It was hot and humid.
I had 3 of them come and sing, Mr. Coach 4, are you okay? I said, son, I'm almost 50. I said, I may be on my last leg, but I'm finishing practice with you today, big guy. And they just look at you and say, okay. And they,
I can see where,
good time. It's fun.
The other thing is that you've kind of forgotten about is these kids weren't in school 2.5 months ago, like normal.
Yeah.
It's been a while since they've been in the classroom.
Yeah, they were mush. And you know what? I didn't get first of all, I was like, what is going on? I mean, I was like, okay, you go to tight end. And that kid had been playing tight end. He just looked at me like this.
Yeah.
I said, that's on the end line on the left. I said, you're going here. And when I do down, that means instead of being an H-back, you're going to tight end. Remember, we did this last 3 weeks. And he just looked at me like this. I said, oh, boy.
Yeah, little expectations a little too high yesterday. All right, let me tell you what I think you do with the virus, and then I want somebody to blow it up, shoot it down, whatever you need to do, okay? Because here's where I get lost. If we vaccinate everybody, why do we keep testing? Why do we keep testing? Sometimes, a lot of times, Kenny Weaver, good morning. A lot of times, we're knowing of an outbreak not because somebody got sick, but because they didn't feel good, went and got tested, and it could be nothing more than a regular flu that would have not have kept them out of practice in normal circumstances. And we test them, and then everybody got to get tested, and then we got to shut down. I don't understand. If I'm vaccinated, why do I do that? Why is that happening? And I'll say this, and I'm not and Link, that's exactly where I was going. Link said, Lanny, where is all the flu we have been having for the last few years? Did you know, I've seen, these were scientists out of Stanford and different universities that said all of this is really just strains of the influenza A and B. And in case you missed it, we had no flu last year. Everything was COVID. We had no flu. Did the flu just go away? Did we just eradicate the flu without a vaccination? Everything became COVID. Could it be that we just had new testing? And maybe it had been here, or a form of it had been here? Folks, I'm just throwing questions. I've told you over and over what I do on this program is I throw things out there for you to think about, not to believe me, not to come and protest in front of the place or want me to run for some kind of office because I know what I'm talking about. None of those apply. I'm just throwing things out there. Go do some research. Go look around. I read all the time. No, I don't read Danielle Steele's, and I don't read novels. I hate fiction. I want to read nonfiction. I want to read stuff that educates me, that makes me a smarter person, a better person. Milton said it's a fear tactic. Scare the people and they will conform. That's part of what bothers me about this. This is never in our lifetime going away. All that you can do is do as much as you can to help prevent it. But folks, we can't just shut down and crawl in a hole. The other thing that I've noticed, why are we not seeing all this stuff anywhere else but here? Why are we not seeing it out of Europe? I think they had a little outbreak. It lasted a couple of weeks and went away. Mm-hmm. Is it because all those people are vaccinated? Are they vaccinated with the same stuff we got? I mean, that's what I want to know. I want to know why we have been singled out. Or are we getting manipulated a little bit? I'm not saying it's not real. I know people that's had it. I know someone that's got it now that's struggling for their life. Not what I'm saying.
Well, you know what's sad, Lanny, is that, most people, feel like and want to believe that when they're being told by professionals or official, government or not, whatever, that those people really have their best interest at heart. And what's happened in the era of social media and instant information is people are starting to find out that no crisis goes to waste. And it's not that there's not a lot of people out there, whether they be in the government or, non-government, whatever, that truly are trying to help. Very well-intentioned, noble people. But then you always have that, small percentage that are doing it for another reason, and it causes a lot of mistrust. And what happens is we talk about feelings and about, what other people think, their emotional and mental health. But when a crisis comes around and people have questions about that, it's like we throw all that out the window and start demonizing those that may not agree, with the narrative.
Just answer all the questions.
But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of push from a lot of people about, well, you should be concerned about other people's feelings. You should be non-judgmental. You should be accepting. You should do all this. But yet, when something like this happens, and and people have questions about things, then they get demonized. And again, I'm not preaching or anything like that. I'm just saying, there's got to be some give and take on both sides in order for things to work. That way, it allows clarity to rise to the top. And right now, because of what we've been told, we were told. Now, and it's okay if Vice President Harris was being truly sincere and said, "Hey, look, I took my shot. I can take this off." Okay, maybe she was being sincere. And now the narrative has changed. Well, you need to put it back on even if you are vaccinated.
Then why did I take the shot?
Well, but what I'm saying is this is where some people, a lot of people, get upset at others for asking those questions, and then they're demonized as being self. And listen, I'm not going on either side of it, okay? What I believe is what I believe, and that's nobody else's business unless I try to share it, okay, and make it public, okay? But the whole point is, there needs to be some grace in this whole thing and a little bit of understanding of both sides so we can educate, but people are skeptical. And that's where this whole issue is.
I'm going to share right now, okay? I'm going to share. Here's the way that I look at it. If I'm not going to judge you, please don't judge me. If I'm not going to single you out, if I'm not going to point out what I don't like and what you should do, Don't do it to me.
What?
That's the
Yeah.
part that we can't get past. Well, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. No, you don't. There's a lot of things go on in this world, okay? Abortion, drugs, all this stuff. I'm not living your life. I'm not what's looking back at you in the mirror. You've got to make those decisions and live with yourself. If I'm doing what I felt like was the best thing for me and those around me, don't try to make my decision that it's not right. Nobody died and made you God. So stop.
Well, the other thing too is people get really frustrated at other people that think and pretend that they know more and they're better educated and all.
I'm learning every day.
The whole thing is this. Sitting around swirling your brandy and drinking. I mean, give me a break, okay? First of all, I mean, it's like anything else. It's like this housing thing that came up in Maiden, okay? People have a right to their opinions and all this. But one question I've got, and there were some great points brought up in those meetings, that they were asking, and people have a right. But why do you or I care, okay, if someone lives in a small acreage yard and has a big house? Why do I care about that?
Right.
I'm not living there.
That's kind of the way I look at
maybe
it.
the person that wants that doesn't want a big yard or any yard at all.
But here's the deal. If I'm not in that neighborhood, it doesn't affect me.
Well, but no, I agree. But what I'm saying, and that's the whole point, but what I'm saying is a lot of times we get very emotional and passionate about things that when we really look deep down inside, does it really, truly affect me? If the answer is no,
but it comes down
then,
to wanting to impose your beliefs and what you want. Now, the way that our society works, the way that our government works, we elect officials,
right?
And we elect those officials to make the decisions based on
Yes.
what they've told us, and we feel like they will do in our best interest.
Yes.
And then if they don't, you remove them. Now,
Right.
that still doesn't mean that I don't believe in term limits, okay? Because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. But
they're important, especially in local government, Lanny. I mean, and we don't have term limits, but self-imposed term limits are a good thing. Okay?
Absolutely.
And, I'm not sitting here this, that, or the other, but when I ran for council and got elected, I said I will serve 2 terms, whether that be 2 years, 4 years, 4 and 2, whatever, 2 and 4, whatever, and then I'm going to step back. And because the government needs to be functional, where you have representation, you can get in there and help get things done, but then you let new blood come in, new ideas, those kind of things. It should be one of these things where somebody stays on council for 40 years or is a mayor for 40 years.
That's correct.
That is insane.
I don't like that at any level.
Well, it just, and it doesn't make it wrong because that's what the people elected. But what I'm saying is, you kind of, you kind of need some new ideas and new flavors, kind of like, councils that you serve on, maybe
church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where, every 3 to 4 years,
Yeah.
you're looking at the same people.
Yeah.
There's great people.
Yeah.
But in order for, new ideas and growth to occur.
Well, you know why a lot of people don't do that? I can tell you.
You can tell me.
It's the same thing we say at every election. If you don't vote, you can't bitch. We got a lot of people that don't want to run for those offices that just want to complain. If you don't like the way things are running, sign up.
Yeah.
It's $10, I think, isn't it? $10 sign up for town council?
Oh, I don't know, 5 or 10.
It's not much. I mean,
No.
it's,
But I think people, there's quite a few people running this time, locally. And, the representation from all areas is a great thing. All ideas, that kind of thing, because it keeps people talk about democracy. It keeps the constitutional republic alive and thriving. Okay, based on ideas.
Now,
Okay.
Andrew, when you talk about expansion and bringing other things in, Andrew brings up a great point. He said, I don't want all the people moving in because it makes the line at 3 Hermanos longer.
We have to eat at 4 o'clock or at 9 at night.
That's right. That's right. You got to
Or
be on the old
11.
people's schedule.
Yeah, that's funny.
Randy, I appreciate that, but I'm not into the Hallmark movies. Randy said Lanny
He
would make
is.
a good
He
Hallmark
is.
movie
Don't let
character.
him
I
lie.
now believe everything he says.
Absolutely.
Could you pass it on to my wife? Just in case you're wondering. We'll take a break.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Yeah, welcome back. Ford had to jump out. He had an appointment this morning, so I appreciate him stopping by for however long he could. Let me give you a couple sports headlines for today. Last night, I tried to watch part of it. It's just so hard to watch preseason football. Jameis Winston made a case that he wants to be the next starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. He went 9 of 10, 123 yards, 2 deep touchdown throws. and there were spectacular catches by Marquise, or I guess it could be Marquise Callaway, against the Jags down the Superdome, and all in the first quarter, and it was a 23-21 victory. Now, Sean Payton has declined to name a starter. I just don't see how the Saints can do it full-time with Taysom Hill. I just don't think that will work. I think it will be Jameis, but it gives them an option, and I think you'll see Hill play quite a bit. They've got one more weekend. I don't think you see any starters next week with the final week of the preseason, and some decisions will have to be made. But you got to look. They've got like 3 weeks before they really have to make a decision. TJ, good morning. Glad to have you. Last night in the game, Travis Etienne was grounded with a foot injury. That's indefinite from the last thing that I saw. Roger Goodell said he wants to keep the Bills in Buffalo, but they need a new stadium. It's a small market team, and that makes it tough. That's what makes it hard to try to keep a team like that. But he spoke at Jim Kelly's golf tournament on Monday. He said, we've got to think long-term. And here's the deal. Buffalo Bills have the town of Buffalo, city of Buffalo, has supported that team through good and bad, and there's been very little good. The Bills went, I think, 4 straight Super Bowls and lost during the Jim Kelly era. So that's just not happened. But Bills owner Kim and Terry Pagula submitted a proposal for a $1.4 billion stadium across the street from the team's current stadium in Orchard Park, which has a 10-year lease that will end in 2023. So the Bills would like to stay, and they're just going to have some help. Now, I don't know where that comes from. They have played in Highmark Stadium. It's a county-owned stadium since 1973. It is the fourth oldest stadium in the NFL. County put more than $200 million of renovations into the stadium over the course of the lease it signed in 2013. But Wilkinson estimated renovating and modernizing the stadium would cost roughly $1 billion. And I don't see why you would do that, why you would want to renovate something of that age when there's not that much difference in money. The Cowboys have gone virtual as their COVID list has expanded by 3. And then there's a story about Cam Newton, and I'll give that one to you in just a second. But the Cowboys have gone virtual. They have added 3 more players, including second-year wide receiver CeCe Lamb to the list. CeCe Lamb is one of those players that's projected, if you play fantasy, CeCe Lamb is projected to be one of the top point scorers in fantasy football. So he is on the list right now. And Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, used to be at Atlanta. He's on the list. And defensive tackle Carlos Watkins was sent home early from Saturday's preseason game against the Texans. There are 2 safeties that have been added to that list as well. Now, the Cowboys have announced that 93% of their players are fully vaccinated, which would account for 80 of the 86 players on the roster. The entire coaching staff and support staff needed to be fully vaccinated before the start of training camp in order to continue working in proximity to players. So here, you've got vaccinated individuals. Jeremy, good morning. You got vaccinated individuals, and they still contracted or test positive. If a fully vaccinated player or coach fails a test and is completely asymptomatic, he can return to the club facility and interact with players after 2 negative PCR tests are taken at least 24 hours apart, plus a negative MESA test, which I don't even know what that is. A fully vaccinated player or coach tests positive, has symptoms, he must remain in isolation until he has 2 negative PCR tests separated by 24 hours and be symptom-free for 48 hours. Unvaccinated players without symptoms will be forced to miss at least 10 days. Unvaccinated players with symptoms will also miss at least 10 days, plus other requirements depending on the severity of the symptoms. Now, no one is saying if Dan Quinn or these other 4 players have had symptoms or they're asymptomatic. Why? I don't know. I wish somebody would tell me. Carolyn, good morning. Glad to have you with us as well. One final story before we look at On This Day. Cam Newton has been sidelined for 5 days. He'll remain away from the team until Thursday due to a misunderstanding on COVID-19 tests conducted away from NFL facilities. He traveled to a Patriots-approved medical appointment that required him to leave the New England region. Okay? He received daily COVID tests, which were all negative, due to a misunderstanding about tests conducted away from NFL facilities, and it's required by the NFL Players Association protocols. Cam will be subject to a 5-day entry cadence process before returning. The other thing, he's already had the virus. So he's got antibodies. Here again, I don't know the details on this. I'm reporting to you, and I don't understand. All right? Due to that misunderstanding, he's going to be away. According to the protocols, Tier 1 and Tier 2 individuals, including players, are exempt from daily testing and allowed to travel if they've received the vaccine. Doesn't say if he's received the vaccine, but he's had the virus. Mac Jones will be moved up the depth chart, followed by Brian Hoyer. You know, sometimes you wonder, did they just pull this to try to sneak Mac Jones in there and not make people guess or second guess what was going on? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how in an organization like that, and you went out for team-approved medical test at team-approved medical facilities on a team-approved appointment, how you get in that situation that you've got to be in a 5-day protocol. Here again, just me. I don't know how that works. Don't know how that works. Let me give you a couple of things here for on this day in sports history. Chicago Cubs in 1905 beat the Phillies 2-1 in 20 innings. Bruce Eichert said the thing. I hope you feel better, Bruce. Said the same thing. That was his immediate thought. Did they kind of play with the rules here? And Jason Moose says sounds like something Bill and the Patriots would do, which you're probably right. I'll agree with that too. Let's see here. 1912. New York ticker tape parade for Jim Thorpe and victorious U.S. Olympians. And I think he had those medals stripped and then was giving them back, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is correct because he had played some professional sport or somewhere. Ted Williams, not a pitcher, but in 1940, left fielder Ted Williams pitches the last 2 innings in a 12-1 loss to the Detroit Tigers. He allowed 3 hits, and 1 run. 1962, Dodger coach Leo DeRocher suffers a near-fatal allergic reaction to a penicillin injection in the clubhouse at the Polo Grounds. 1979, NFL fans, 60,916 chose Old Patriots logo over the new one. When my high school coach played for them, it was like a Boston. It was like they were the Boston Patriots. It was a Patriot acting like a center, snapping it. That was the logo. I don't know if that's when it was changed. 1983, Pete Rose ends his consecutive game played streak at 745 games. 1989, Pete Rose is suspended from baseball for life in the gambling scandal that we've seen, that we know way too much of. He still needs to be in the Hall of Fame. 2006, the great Jerry Rice signed a 1-day contract with the 49ers and officially retired from the NFL. Bobby Rosinski, that I worked with down at ESPN 730, absolutely hates the 1-day contract. He doesn't like it when you come out and get a 1-day contract so you can retire with whatever team you want to. I really don't have a problem with there are some players that is a part of who they are when they were on a certain team, and I don't really want to see that go away. I think it ought to be left up to the player and the team if the team wants them to do that. Mike Shanahan, former head coach, he will turn 69 today. He was born in Oak Park, Illinois. Cal Ripken Jr., born on this day. He turned 61, born in Maryland. Reggie Miller, you hear him a lot of times on Dan Patrick if you follow that show, born on this day in 1965. Played for the Pacers from 87 to 2005, had Olympic gold in 96. Any others that kind of jump off the page here? A lot of birthdays, just not a lot of folks, I guess, that you could say we would know. Maybe that's the best way to put it. I'm trying to find, there's a lot of cricketers. Adrian Foster, running back for the Texans and the Dolphins, born in Albuquerque in 1986. And that's all I got in birthdays for today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bill Bender will be with us tomorrow. And one of the things that we need to talk to Bill about, he wrote about yesterday, is this proposed alliance that they're trying to do to kind of combat the expansion of the SEC. We'll get some thoughts on that. Hope you have a wonderful day. It is going to be hot. Please, please be careful with heat. If you need to get out early and do something outside, do it this morning. Don't do it later on this afternoon. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.